I don't care whether Chris Beard is convicted. If he is, great. I'm not buying the BS that this was all self-defense. I don't believe it for 1 second. If he wanted to get out of this physical altercation that he claimed his woman started, then you leave the house and you get out of the room. You don't put your hands on a woman's neck, or anybody's neck for that matter. You don't strangle them, and you don't bruise them up. It's not like she was coming at him with a gun or a knife. She wasn't going to physically hurt him terribly where he'd have to go to the hospital. I don't believe Chris Beard. The University of Texas has set precedents here. And they're basically saying what I just said. At this point, it's irrelevant whether you're convicted or even if you're charged. You don't represent this school. You don't represent our values. And we don't want you here anymore. And we are putting doing what's right ahead of winning college basketball games. And I applaud the University of Texas for making the right decision, because it's not like Chris Beard wasn't winning games there, right? It's easy to let a coach go for other reasons if he's also not winning, right? My personal friend, who I love dearly, Coach Larry Eustace, was fired at Colorado State. Make no mistake about it. He never put his hands on anybody. He's a good father. He's a good husband. He was fired because he was throwing soda cans against the wall, and he was using bad words towards his players to motivate them. That was a joke. So there also is the opposite. But the reason why they fired Larry Eustace was not because of that. It's because he wasn't having a good year. Mark my words, if he was winning at Colorado State that year, they would not have fired him. That's why this is impressive that Texas made the right decision, considering the fact that he's a great basketball coach. He wins a lot of games, and he was winning games this year. So I applaud Texas for this. Now, there's going to be lawsuits, and Chris Beard's attorneys say they fired him without cause. I disagree, because I'm sure there is a clause in his contract that says if they feel like you're making the university look bad and you're not representing the university properly in one way or another, we can let you go. I believe that's what was done here. Now, I understand that his fiance, I believe it is, had claimed that she's the one who started the altercation and she took off his glasses or broke his glasses. That is not a reason to put your hands on a woman, put your hands on a woman's throat, and assault a woman. We're not talking about grabbing a woman's shoulder or a push to get somebody away from you. That's not what we're talking about here. Based on the information that police have released on the police report, she had bruises on her legs and she had a bunch of roughed up scars on her body, and he was dragging her around the room that she claimed allegedly. And now all of a sudden she's walking things back and saying, oh no, I'm the one who did it. I'm the one who did it. It wasn't him. It was me. Well, when you have this much money at stake, I'm not surprised that she's doing that. This happens all the time. Now, that could play a role in whether he is convicted or even charged with a crime. We'll let the courts deal with that, and we'll see what happens. But whether he is not charged with a crime or charged with a crime at this point is irrelevant to the University of Texas, and I applaud them for making that decision. I think you know where I'm going with this. I don't think Chris Beard is a good dude. Sadly, there are a lot of very successful coaches at the college level that are not very nice people, but they happen to be very successful coaches, and they win a lot of basketball games. I will say I am from the University of I'm not from the University of Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. I grew up a UConn Huskies fan. I grew up with Ray Allen, Kevin Ollie, to name a few. Donyell Marshall in those days, right? Jim Calhoun, great basketball mind. Really good basketball coach, not a good guy. I've had plenty of interactions with him. And then when he finally got caught cheating, which many of the top coaches in the country do, he didn't own it. And then he did what a coward would do. He retired, and now he's coaching some Division III team. Not a good guy. Great basketball coach, not a good person. It's kind of how I feel about Chris Beard. I've heard from a lot of people that seem to know him pretty well that he likes to suck him back a lot and he drinks a lot. Now, I don't know if he was intoxicated that night, and that could be irrelevant to this story. We'll have to wait and see. But again, I applaud the University of Texas for putting in doing the right thing over making money and winning a bunch of college basketball games, because not many organizations in society are willing to do that. And I think we need to give the athletic director at the University of Texas plenty of kudos for what I consider doing the right thing. I'm sure Chris Beard will eventually be picked up somewhere else, maybe in a year or two. That'll make that university look pretty bad. But eventually, mark my words, Chris Beard will be coaching sometime soon. Even if he is charged, I'm not sure if he'll be convicted of a crime. If he is, that might change things, but I'm not sure he will be. We'll have to wait and see how this thing plays out. All right. So as you know, Kevin McCarthy has embarrassed himself